Wait, are we doing that hangover story? I think
Yeah,
that'd be great. Just in time for Cinco de Mayo.
We're live on Facebook.
Oh.
We are
Hello,
live
Facebook.
on Facebook.
I didn't see you there.
Oh, jeez.
Do you come here very often to Facebook?
Happy May the 4th be with you to everyone who is tuning in right now on Facebook. Today, I'm Yoda, along with the rest of the
And I am Ryan, who doesn't know much about Star Wars.
You should start watching Star Wars. This is the great day to
get
Disney
is a great
Plus
day
and just binge away.
Ryan, forget all your schoolwork today.
Got it. I'll ditch the buzz meeting after the show to go watch Star Wars.
Priorities.
The hawk has landed. This is one small step for man, one giant leap for college radio.
You're listening to 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey.
A not so long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, the WMSC crew gathered in Studio A to do the Morning Buzz. On March 21st, 2020, a stay-at-home order began. College radio, the resistance was determined to not let the virus take away their transmission power. Led by Jedi Masters Annabella Poland and Adam Goldberg, the crew remotely hacked into the radio station. Thus, welcome to the quarantine edition of the Morning Buzz. May the 4th be with you. Thank you for joining us today. I totally had to nerd out there. Couldn't help but use my D&D DM voice. I'm Ryan Trick. I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts. She's over there for me on my screen.
I'm Marino.
And down there on my screen, well, I can't contort anymore, but we are also joined by two very special guests today. The MSU Career Service Jedis or Sith Lords, depending on which side of the Force you're in, who will share some pearls of wisdom and guidance on job internships and job searches in this time of COVID-19. But before we get into that, we have to send it over to Yoda, aka Jeremy Wall, for the newscast for today. Jeremy, what's going on in the world?
Ryan, the Associated Press is reporting that nursing homes nationwide are pushing back numerous lawsuits to try to get states to allow them to receive emergency protection from inadequate care claims. So far, 15 states have enacted laws or governor's orders that provide nursing homes and long-term care facilities some protection from lawsuits due to the crisis. States of emergency immunity measures include Alabama, Arizona, Connecticut, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, Nevada, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Wisconsin. Almost 70% of the nation's nursing homes are run by for-profit companies, while others have been bought and sold by private equity firms. According to CNN, politicians in Australia and New Zealand are discussing possibilities of opening up borders to each other, creating a new travel corridor or travel bubble between both nations. Borders between the two countries were almost shut down in March to foreigners due to the coronavirus. The corridor is likely to be rolled out in August. A popular New Jersey Shore nightclub will stay closed this summer. NJ.com is reporting the Osprey in Manasquan will not be opening due to social distancing. The nightclub, which has been around since 1946, disclosed the news on their Facebook page yesterday. The Osprey plans to open their doors again next summer and celebrate their 75th anniversary. From Kids' Choice to Shorty, celebrities achieved a variety of awards this weekend. According to The Hollywood Reporter, both shows were produced virtually as celebrities such as Trevor Noah, Rebel Wilson, Zendaya, and others achieved awards. Those appearing on the Kids' Choice were also slimed while Victoria Justice hosted this year. $1 million was also donated during the show to No Kid Hungry. Let's get to the forecast. We are looking at highs today in the upper 60s with sunny skies. Tomorrow, temperatures drop to the low 60s with sunny clouds. Finally, hump day arrives with highs in the mid-50s and a chance of rain. Guys, may the 4th be with you. Or is it with you, shall I say?
Dude, that was unreal.
That was amazing.
Oh my lord.
Nice.
It is gonna be a
Thank you,
fantastic show
Marley.
today. I'm feeling it. It's gonna be good. I'm Amanda, you will be pleased to know I am actually running on more than like 3 hours of sleep for once in my life.
Oh my goodness, really?
Who'd have
Darth
thunk it?
Vader's gonna come out of somewhere with C-3PO and
Exactly.
B-1 and maybe R2.
My dad's gonna come up from upstairs or from downstairs and just surprise me in like a full Darth Vader outfit. He's
Straight
like,
up.
joke's on you, I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'm the only
Wow,
one
no,
here
but
who's
I'm
not a
shocked
Star Wars nerd.
you actually got sleep for once. You usually like are up all night.
Yeah, I
Uh-oh.
know. My dad just said hi and he didn't know I was on here. Hi, Dad. Shout out to my dad.
Mr. the Mr. Trick.
Yeah, the Mr. Trick. Anyways, so this time of year brings both seniors both excitement and anxiety, and I feel not just seniors as well, but a lot of people entering the job field. Excitement to finish a journey they began 4 years ago, and anxiety because landing a job right now is really daunting at the moment. So, Adam Mayer, Director of Career Counseling and Academic Affairs, and Jeff Poulos, Career Advisor, College of Humanities and Social Science, are our campus career service Jedi Masters, and they are here with us today to discuss job internship searches in the time of COVID-19. Thank you guys so much for coming on and joining in with our antics.
Thank you for having us. Glad to be here.
We love it. Thank you. Yeah, this is great.
It was fantastic. For those of you listening, just a funny thing. Jeff came in and he was like, "Hold on, I got to get my character set up." And he turned his camera on, sad that he couldn't fit his Darth Vader helmet on along with his headphones.
I'm doing my best right
So
now,
he's
but
doing his best.
it can't fit. It can't fit with the headpiece on. But we
I
try.
think I was right. Darth Vader is gonna make
Exactly.
an appearance.
Well, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. This is it's a very stressful time for a lot of seniors who are graduating and searching for job opportunities on the regular day. So in this climate, is there hope for people looking for a gig where there's a job or an internship?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. I mean, is there hope? You're still not going with the Star Wars theme. A New Hope? Just checking. There's always hope. There's always hope. What we're looking at in all seriousness, opportunities that are remote. We've seen an increase in the number of positions posted that have the term remote, contract work, those sort of things. So employers are responding to that, and as well as job seekers are using those sort of search terms as well. So it is in no way ideal come graduation this year, but there are lots of things, and I know we'll get into it and how we can prepare.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, we know that the job market isn't the greatest right now, just in general. So I know I personally have taken advantage of some of these opportunities, but can you tell all our listeners out there maybe some of these services that you guys offer in your office on campus for people?
Sure. Take
Yeah.
it away, Jeff? Yeah.
Surely. So as you may or may not have heard, a lot of our services are driven through Hire a Red Hawk. I'm sure that's not the first time you've all been.
It
hearing
better
about
not
this.
be.
It better not be, or else we're gonna send out the Siths after you. So, but a lot of our services are revolved, around that, and that's where our job opportunities are posted. It's kind of a way for Montclair students to have their finger on the pulse to see what's going on. We still are accessible and meeting with students. So through similar to how we're meeting now, we can meet with you, via Zoom. We can review your resume on there. I think one kind of honorable mention that a lot of students have been taking advantage of on there is our mock interview module. So practicing mock interviews, virtually and things like that, because that's, I think, and Adam and I have discussed this, has always been here, but now it kind of was the customer that cut the line in front of the store. So now it's here to stay. They cut everyone off, and I think having the opportunity to practice that is going to be key. So you could always email us too. We'll plug that, at the end. But we're here to help have those conversations, show you those strategies. I know we're going to talk about LinkedIn, networking, all that stuff. So there's plenty to do with the downtime, and people have the time to do it now too. So
True.
Yeah, definitely.
hmm
So how is recruiting different now? You said that a lot of places are kind of looking for online opportunities, but for jobs that aren't necessarily like you wouldn't think are geared to be online, how is recruiting like how are we seeing a difference in recruiting nowadays?
Well, if we look at Ryan, our most recent effort in terms of career fairs, it was a virtual career fair. So they themselves, along with student attendees and alumni, are getting used to that sort of medium where it's a chat feature. You have an elevator pitch prepared. You're copy and pasting that. You're waiting in line for the employer to respond. It's again, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but it's not ideal. There's a learning curve with all of this stuff. But I think one of the biggest things is just to remain active during this pandemic, during this downtime, whether it's taking a, Jeff and I have talked about Coursera, right? Taking some online courses, like, right, Jeff? I mean, professional development needs to continue.
Definitely. And I would say a great example is, the virtual fair was awesome because we didn't know what to expect number wise when we pivoted everything on there. And we ended up having close to 60 employers wanting to engage with students. There were some speed bumps and technical glitches, so we did our best to, launch that and get that going. But and then in between, after then too, there's been a couple employers that have reached out to us. I know we have some opportunities even this week that they're hosting Zoom info sessions and they're still recruiting students. So I think in a way, in a sense, all roads lead to being used to and getting comfortable with these venues of speaking to through video scope. And Adam and I have done a video series on that, on, the ins and outs of how to do Skype interviews and, making sure like a drum set's not behind you if you're not wearing a Vader mask on while you're doing it. That's not ideal. Um, but yeah, I think I think the recruiting is there. It's just a little unorthodox and not traditional to what we're used to recruiting. So, an interview may just be a phone call and then a video interview, or it may just be a direct video interview with, one individual, maybe many individuals. So, I think just getting used to that is going to be something to practice and look towards.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with
Mhm.
that. Some places are still hiring though right now, as you guys mentioned earlier. And eventually after COVID-19, we know people will rehire people and the whole 9 yards of that. Do you have any tips for people that are like currently looking for internships and are about to graduate, things like that, like just in that nature? Because obviously it's not going to stop people from looking for jobs, even if right now seems kind of crazy.
Sure. I just had a quick thought in terms of LinkedIn. I think you guys have probably seen my page at this point. But anytime you log in your news feed, you'll see on the right-hand side, here's who's hiring now. So that's something that's updated almost every day, something to pursue there, whether it's internships or full-time jobs. And then maybe the second little piece with LinkedIn is you want to do this, edit your custom URL. So you can see it's branded to my name. Click on the little blue pencil, right? Edit it, because when you create your account for the first time, it's going to have numbers and letters. It's frankly unsightly, right?
Yeah.
You want to brand it like your email address, copy and paste this into your email signature, social media channels, resume, cover letter, all that good stuff.
Fantastic. And I kind of quick stemming off of that, there are also a lot of our listeners are not college students, and we've seen a huge impact on just the job market in general, not just for college students coming out and trying to look for jobs, but for people who have been in their careers maybe 20 years and job cuts happen. So is there any and also, to be quite honest, I feel like the pandemic has kind of shown just how many people aren't quite as versed at LinkedIn or at online job searching as, they may have hoped to be. So is there any are there any other like LinkedIn tips that you guys can share with those listeners? Any ways to improve their online profile? I also know that there are
you're talking to Qui-Gon
common
and Obi-Wan
mistakes
here.
you guys catch.
Yeah. Adam, I'm assuming you're going to share your screen then. Is that what's going on right now?
No. Tell
Oh,
them
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Take it away.
one thing I would say, and Adam can piggyback off of this, is LinkedIn is great for creating your brand. As we know, I've said it's superior to the resume because there is no page limit. Whereas the resume, we're always told, right, to keep our resume one page, put our best foot forward. But if we include that LinkedIn URL up top on our resume, now we're giving the reader an opportunity to learn more about you. What does Ryan, what does Jeremy, what does Amanda bring to the table? Maybe I want to see a summary you wrote for yourself that's on LinkedIn, things like that. But more specifically, a really good networking tool I would say to those folks, to answer your question, Ryan, is to go to Montclair's page, which is what Adam's doing now on his screen share. Look at that alumni tab, and it breaks it down as to who is on LinkedIn that's a part of Montclair's network, and it tells me where they are, what they do, and what they studied. And this is really good visualization.
Sorry, dude, but this is the year I graduated. Sorry.
19. That's why you're Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's like immortal, right? But yeah, it's a really great tool and visualization to see where people are and to have your finger on the pulse. And I plug this all the time with students for two reasons. One, just to make informational connections, to see, I want to learn more about that person's particular job, their career trajectory. I have the Montclair connection. It's called a warm connection, right? So they graduate from Montclair. I'm going to be, or I am, or soon to be an alumni of Montclair. But two, maybe this is kind of like that glass door approach, that maybe you do find a job at a particular company or employer. And before I apply, maybe someone's already there that's a part of the Montclair network.
Love that, dude.
And now I'm not going to ask them for the job right away. That's not pro, but I would just say, listen, I'm interested in this opportunity. I would love to learn more about your position at this company, this culture. How is it like, and that right there, Adam and I have said this before, could be the one thing that separates you from someone else in the job search process. It's very simple. It's a simple pro tip, but that and following up, right, with all your connections, that's huge too. That goes a long way. But people have the time. I just want to stress that again. Now, everyone's working remote, or they may not be, unfortunately, but people have time to have these conversations. And frankly, people love talking about themselves too. So everyone's willing to share their story and just say, that's awesome. Montclair State student reaching out to me, and maybe that's how they remember you afterwards too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Just as a more of a lighter note, I guess, what are just some dumb mistakes that are common with students, especially when finding a job? And this could be not even due to COVID. It could be like any year. It's just like, oh, this is not what you should be doing, and every student's doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
so just touch on that.
Amanda, I got a Hall of Famer right here for you.
I do too. I have a few, but you go first, Adam.
So my favorite cover letter of all time, the handshake to the resume, is the cover letter, right? So the individual sent it over for feedback, as you would do normally and for career services, and they were applying for a paralegal position. Paragraph 2.
I'm scared.
I am too, and I already know the punchline. It's awful. I have extensive experience assassinating attorneys.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's not even. Is that autocorrect? Is that who? What? Really? So obviously, it was crazy. I had to call them. I said, is this a joke? Considering the target, attorneys get a bad rap.
That's
awful. Spell. Oh, yeah.
So
it's bad.
So try not to use too exciting language, I guess, in your cover letter.
That's a power verb. Too much of a power verb. That's a Sith Lord cover letter, Adam.
There you go.
I saw one once, and I'll mention two. I always see unprofessional email addresses all the time. I don't know why that's acceptable. I think it's fair game to use your Montclair email address. It's branded to your name. But I've seen things like Crazy Socks, any Game of Thrones reference, that's cool. But if I'm reading your resume, that's not the email address that I want to be putting out there.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to stop reading as soon as I see that. So, and then my second one, I would say I saw this like maybe a year ago. A student put or someone I don't know if it was a student, but it was legendary customer service.
Oh,
Legendary. I was like, what is legendary customer service? I don't even know. In the skills section. So
In a skill section.
yeah,
so
legendary.
legendary. So anytime I see legendary, I think of the Legends of the Hidden Temple, but I don't know.
I feel
Yeah.
like
Legend of Zelda.
I know I'm definitely no career expert or anything like you guys are, but I feel like I need to throw in my 2 cents of when I did something really bad with a resume, and I
Oh,
feel
no.
you're gonna just be very upset with me. So I think I need to label things better because I was
Okay.
applying to like an internship once, and I'm a theater major, but I'm also like I do communication work and stuff too. So like I have 2 separate resumes, one for like acting and one for like the other stuff. And I
Nice.
sent my acting one to one that was for like a production one. And I was just, I never heard back. And I was like, you know what? It wasn't worth it. It wasn't paid anyway, but still. Did I just submit that? So what happened?
That's
we
awesome.
gotta stay pro. It's tough. Sometimes
Yeah.
the mistakes squeak
Yeah.
through, but all the more reason to take advantage of career services, like Jeff and I are saying. We're another pair of eyes. We're not there to judge. We're literally there to help.
Yeah. So I guess so kind of from the stories, try not to use like too colorful, or not colorful, I'd say, but too flavorful language. You don't people just shouldn't try and spice their resumes up.
Yeah, write it as if you're speaking. You know,
Okay.
we all know when we've read stuff where people are reaching,
Mhm.
you know, trying to sound awesome or otherwise, and it's like, no. I mean, eventually, if you get the job and you start working there, you're going to talk in the same way you would normally. So why not be the same person on paper or as a PDF or Word doc as you would be in person?
Awesome.
Yeah, keep it simple. That's what
Yeah.
I would say.
Have
Definitely.
you ever seen anybody send like the wrong cover letter or
Oh yeah, dear
anything
Seton,
or something on
100%.
it?
dear
Yeah.
Seton Hall, to a job at Montclair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fatal blunder, as we say. Fatal
Ooh,
blunder.
Oh no.
Yeah, or addressed to the wrong person,
Yeah.
or
Mm.
in the paragraph of the letter, they're mentioning a different job title that was
Oh
versus.
yeah.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that happens.
Yikes.
That's how you know immediately that was a copy and paster, you know. So
Copy and paster.
yeah, so
So one huge change that we have seen in the job market and job searching recently, and one that I feel like a lot of people don't know about, is the use of AI to scan through jobs.
Straight up.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I don't know much about it, but I know enough that it's ridiculous.
it's the
Yeah.
Kessel Run right there, man. It's the Kessel Run. I'll talk a little bit about it just to start. So, you know, a lot of, most likely, you know, I can't give a percentage, but your job, your resume is going through what's called an applicant tracking system, which is a software that scans your resume, even your cover letter sometimes, and pins it against the job. And what that scan is looking for is anything from how many times you mention a certain keyword that's
Yeah.
mentioned in the job versus how it's mentioned in your resume. So to take a step back for a second for this concept, when people say, should I be using a different resume each time I apply to a job? The answer is yes. So we're here to clear that myth. I'm going to Obi-Wan this right there. See that? So we're here to clear that up in the sense that you should be incorporating as many of those key words as you can. Adam and I have even actually seen sometimes those scans even look for verbs, the exact, you know, every job lists a certain amount of job responsibilities and tasks. So sometimes even including the verbs is looked for too. But really good transition here. A really good useful tool that we plug all the time that's awesome is this website called JobScan,
Mm-hmm.
JOBSCAN.co.
Lose the M. That's what's strange about this. There's no M in JobScan.
Right.
JobScan.co.
It was actually created by a person who was I think laid off or even furloughed. I think he was laid off from Microsoft and used many years trying to create apply to jobs, couldn't land one, and was like, you know what, I can't get around these applicant tracking systems. How do I do this? So he's like, to heck with this, I'm going to create my own software. So what this does is, let's say you find a job that you're interested in, before you apply, copy and paste that job along with your resume, and this is a good temperature check. See where you scan. So that's what's Adam is doing that right now. He did a sample one,
Wah,
um,
wah.
which he's in major hot water because it came up as 0.
Talk
Oh,
about a black hole.
sorry, now it's loading. 68%, my bad.
Wow.
But it'll tell you on that breakdown, what you should be mentioning, what are some skills you should be talking about, what's a good match, what wasn't a good match.
Huh.
So this is a really good tool that you can add to your arsenal when you are searching for jobs, because if you find something, don't just, we want you to kind of put your best foot forward. And we're here to help with that too, obviously. But we shouldn't just be getting click happy and applying to things. There's a lot of math, there's a science to it, job in itself, applying to a job. So this is a really good site to kind of take advantage of. And it's a job search function in itself. So if Adam even scrolled all the way down, there's a list of jobs there that are listed based off of what you put in the scan. So it's kind of like multi-layered process to this, but it's really cool. It's a really great tool. We even recommend you get 5 free scans a month. Just keep that in mind. But if you sign up through the site, it creates newsletters that you can get, a part of and be sent to your email address. And it'll tell you, latest trends, what's going on. There's a bunch of free webinars coming up by career industry experts that are going on the next month and a half that are free. So even
Yeah.
Adam and I are sitting in on some of those just to brush up on our chops and, incorporate that as we help students, along through this. So
Yeah.
it's a really great tool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I haven't even ever heard of that, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's like your best friend. Go.
So you guys are certainly no strangers to radio. In fact, you just wrapped the 2nd season of your podcast, Manual or Automatic: What Gears Are Driving Your Career, which is actually done in partnership with WMSC and the podcast production class, hosted by Annabella Poland, of course.
Not a big deal.
So in the podcast, you guys share like a lot of valuable info on jobs and careers and job services in the market. How did you two decide to do this podcast, and what's been the response, and where can people find it, especially like at a time like this? This is a huge time for people to want to listen to these kinds of podcasts.
Massive. So yeah, it started really with just to preface, Adam and I have had chemistry for a long time. We go way back. I was his grad intern, so I kind of literally am Obi-Wan and he is Qui-Gon. So there is a lot of truth in that comparison. And I always loved radio from my undergraduate days. I went to Loyola and I was a part of the radio station there in Baltimore. And I wanted to carry that with me into Montclair somehow. And I connected with Annabella. We started talking and she said, why don't you, if you have some ideas, why don't you create a podcast centered around career services and some topics? And I said, I can't do this thing by myself. I need my navigator here. So I contacted Adam. I said, would you be in? And he was in almost, automatically. And then we just started spitballing names. We were both kind of car junkies in a sense that we love talking about old muscle cars and stuff. And we came up with this idea, manual or automatic, because sometimes, the whole idea to that is your career search, is it manual based? Are you in control of it, or are you just on cruise control? What's kind of going on? So yeah, we created this and had some topics and everything, and we talked about everything from resumes to cover letters, how to set up informational interviews. We wanted to interview some more alum this upcoming semester. We were, with the coronavirus, we were unable to do that. But how you can find us is through SoundCloud, through your page, WMSC. So if you go to the playlist there on WMSC and in SoundCloud, and you can find us, manual or automatic, and click, and there's the whole, category list of 22 episodes. And we've said this throughout each episode almost, but we would not have had the success we had with this without the help from all of you, including even the morning people and everyone in the WMSC radio. It was awesome. And Annabella too, this was great because it's all run student produced in conjunction with a class that Annabella teaches. So I think 20 something students had to listen to our episodes each time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we
The
still
best-
apologize for that.
Yeah. And they had to edit our, shenanigans, and, we try to keep it light because, what we think is funny may not be funny for everyone else, but we do our best. So, but yeah, they're there. They're not time stamped or anything. I think they're really applicable right now. And yeah, they're actually Adam's brother Andrew is a graphic designer, so
Shout out.
he was our Andrew Mayer, or also known as Andy Mayer. He did our graphics from time to time. So we had a Halloween episode. I was Mike Myers. Adam was Jason. I think even one day we were C3PO and R2 talking about applicant tracking systems. So yeah, definitely we encourage everyone to check it out if you can. WMSC SoundCloud page. There you go. And yeah, it's been so much fun though. We've had a blast, and we recorded the last 4 remotely, and they came out great. And we look forward to really doing them more. Yeah, we were stepbrothers at one point too. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you're also now YouTubers, I hear.
Oh yeah. So we do have a YouTube channel, and this is for career services. Yeah, tons of stuff.
oh geez.
Everybody, I'm Adam Mayer in the Center for Career Services.
And I'm Jeff Poulos from Career Services.
Job searching is tough. There's a lot of obstacles out there. Let's say you've landed an interview. Well done.
You're psyched, but you're a bit nervous. Now's
Yeah,
the time to
deploy it.
practice, and we're here to help.
Dude, really?
Hire a Red Hawk.
And Hire Red Hawk is your own learning management tool system accessible to you through Montclair State University's Career Services.
And lucky you, Hire a Red Hawk offers a built-in mock interviewing module.
So log in today to get started through your Nest account.
And remember, when you shoot your video, shoot from the shoulders up. All right? Jeff, from the shoulders up, Jeff. Maybe.
That's some Oscar acting right there.
I know. Oscar worthy.
Like Oscar Mayer.
Yeah, exactly. L7 weenie.
Now
We
to
had to plug it. It's
now to kind of like wrap things up.
yeah.
Here at WMSC, we love positivity, especially Ryan. Ryan loves anything good news when it comes to, especially during these times. So as much as this can be very stressful, we know positivity still exists. So has anything positive come from this pandemic for your team, or maybe just you guys specifically?
We do virtual meetings now on Fridays with the career services folks that I work with, and I can't wait to see their faces. I can't wait to hear their voices, and even just seeing you guys. I mean, I got a couple of kids back here. I'm tired of looking at them. They're probably tired of looking at me. So really, truly, without being too silly, yeah, it's cool to reach out, and the virtual thing isn't all that bad. And we're social creatures. We got to collaborate. We got to be cool with one another. So. Yeah, it's fun, and I think it's essential to reach out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's been fun doing even, there's been virtual meetings, virtual dinners, virtual lunches, stuff like that to kind of keep it light and fresh, because you could easily, kind of steer away and be, distant if you're not engaging in some sort of way. So I think a lot of good self-care practices have emerged from this for everyone, I would say. So I mean, even for me, I've just been doing a lot more playing music. So Amanda, we got to jam sometime soon.
Yes.
Got to get the band back together. So so that's been fun. But yeah, I've had some students, I think more students than ever, reaching out, just want to talk careers, and them leaving feeling really happy and saying that thanking me, I guess, really for sharing the resources like JobScan, and really learning more about LinkedIn, because they just had a profile but didn't know how to really dive into it. So yeah, there's been a lot of good positivity from that, and that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Adam Mayer, Jeff Poulos, it was an honor having you guys on. It was fantastic. And again, thank you for dealing with our antics and even adding some of your own. We love
we
love
loved
having
it.
a good time here on the Morning Buzz. So again, thank you.
What's the best way that people can contact you?
How can people reach out to you guys?
Sure. I mean, the best way, at least at this point, would probably be via email. So it's my last name. That's Mayer, Mayer. A is in Adam, D is in David, at montclair.edu.
Yep, email would be best too. So my last name, Poulos, letter J, at montclair.edu. And just, we're always talking to a lot of students. So just remind me how we maybe connected, or if we didn't connect, just how do we cross paths, and then we'll take it from there. Glad to help.
Yeah, and if you guys, all our listeners out there, if you want to also maybe not talk to them directly, but listen to their SoundCloud on WMSC's page, if you want to just get some helpful quick tips. Yeah,
yes,
go for
definitely.
it.
If
Thank
you're
you.
interested, their podcast is available for free.
Yeah,
there you go.
The cover, and for those audio listeners, the covers of each podcast are really funny. The first
Andrew
one I ever
Mayer,
saw
yeah.
was the Step Brothers one, and it is very well photoshopped. I was very confused.
You were
Love
like, wait,
it.
we're in your office.
Well, Jeff,
Classic.
thank you so much for coming on. It
Thank
was an
you.
honor having you guys. Feel free to stick around in the background if you want to tune in for the rest of the show. But yeah, again, thank you very
Definitely.
much for joining us.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Take
rest
care,
of the
guys.
day.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Take care.
You too.
Stay
Take care.
safe. So, I have no idea
Good
how to move into this next topic other than
Oh no! Here comes.
yeah.
We gotta
So
like stop Ryan from ranting because I think he might go into a rant.
it's okay. Welcome
Give me a
back to
new segment
Ranting
of the
with
show,
Ryan.
Ranting with
Let
Ryan.
me read you the introduction I wrote.
Here was your
This-
little like distraction was like having the interview, and then you were
I
like,
know,
"Oh,
but
now
they were so awesome, and really, it's fantastic. The stuff that the stuff that they were sharing. I'm gonna go back and listen to this show as I update my LinkedIn later this week. They were career
But
services
besides
is
that,
fantastic.
Ryan needs to rant. Besides
Exactly.
having a
So
distraction.
I'll read the introduction. I literally wrote on the script, and nobody changed. Moving on to just how dumb some of humanity really is, according to NBC New York, more college students are around the country are seeking tuition refunds from their schools, and students at more than 25 U.S. universities are filing lawsuits to get some of their money back.
It's just leaving me speechless.
Oh, it
we already
hurts.
heard about it happening at our school, but it's almost like dominoes. It's like one person does it at one school, and just other people just follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
Amanda, I know you have something to say. You're talking about me ranting, but you have something to say about the suit that was happening at our school.
I was like, what do I? And I'm
I believe that you have some, maybe not insider information, because we don't want speculation here on the Buzz.
Yes,
However,
I work very closely with the film department a lot, and I have a lot of friends within the film department where the student that sued MSU is a student in. And I've just kind of heard that a lot of my friends are sending in my group chats. They're like, oh, my teacher just ripped on this kid, Colin, for doing this, even if he wasn't in this class. And they've basically been just ranting about it. And like, I think at the end of the day, like, okay, was it stupid? This is my opinion. So again, my
opinions here, opinions expressed on the show reflect the opinions of the host, not that of the station.
At me on Twitter, Marino12.
Angry tweet us. Yeah, don't.
I'll do that right now. It's Marino.
Yeah, and thanks, Jeremy. But anyway,
at Ryan the Trick.
In my opinion, at the end of the day, I think MSU is doing a great job, to be completely honest, of what they're doing. Like, probably better than some of the other universities I've seen, actually, is really trying. I see these teachers working really hard, just trying to keep, even people like Annabella, she's working so hard.
Annabella's working, by the way, like 12-hour days.
Imagine, like, she's literally doing school herself and then also coming and helping us just do radio and
Yeah.
still teaching classes. Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
But not even just that, but like also at the same time, these teachers, all my teachers are still having in-person classes online, and they're really working hard, like really hard, and to make us like even get credits. And at the end of the day, is it rough that we are not in school? Yes, it is really rough. I never wanted to go back to school more than in my life than I do now. And but I do think I get the point that some people are upset because they can't use the cage where you can get all your equipment and like you basically paid a fee. But a lot of people paid fees to be able to use like labs and to be able to use a lot of other things. And it's just the nature of the situation. We can't really do much about it. And I do want to correct something that was in that article that said why he was suing MSU. He said also the libraries and stuff aren't open. The library is still open. And if you're on campus, you could still go use it. Nothing of that closed. So that kind of makes me annoyed. But I also don't know if you guys saw this article. It actually just came into my head. When we first saw this lawsuit article, there was I read another article about it. I think it was like from NJ.com or something. And it was like a whole added thing about talking about why he thinks he's also suing MSU. And it basically says, well, MSU is still running these advertising campaigns and is talking about like everything's great at MSU. And you know those pictures you see on your Instagram or your like Facebook, and it literally shows kids sitting, reading books in a library or going hanging out with their friends. But it's like MSU still has a job to do. They still have to get kids to come to their school. I don't think that should have anything to do with it. If that makes sense.
You still see commercials of people sitting and eating at an Applebee's when nobody's sitting and eating at an Applebee's.
Exactly. Okay. I think Annabella found it for us. It's like at the bottom of the article, I believe, Annabella. It just kind of talked about like how he's upset that like there's still things happening like with. Yeah, here it is. The lawsuit contains screenshots of Montclair's online marketing campaign showing smiling students gathered for like events and
Look,
all that
people,
kind of stuff. Like what?
People need they need students to come to their school. Okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna be totally honest. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I'm close. Didn't Susan Cole say Montclair is currently $40 million in debt?
I don't think a lot of people realize. I know as much as tuition.
Thank you for confirming that number for me, Annabella. 40 million.
Yeah, as much as like, all right, we're all in debt. We're students. We understand. As much as we would want that money back in a sense. I'm going with Ryan on this. If you get a full refund, you might as well say goodbye to your credits because you are.
Thank you. No, somebody's agreeing with me.
No, because like, what's the point then? Because you're basically asking for free credits and you paid for this tuition to come to this school. And again, I am going to stress this enough. If this was a Montclair issue, maybe it would be a different story, even if it was maybe an NJ issue. But this is happening across the globe. Like you go to any school. My friends, do you know what stinks more? I have friends that were studying abroad and they had to come home from London and Italy, and they missed their whole semester, and they probably paid a little more than you did.
Yeah.
And they lost that opportunity. So I think you just need to chill out. And I know this is supposed to be a whole MSU centered thing, but this goes for everyone. Yeah. I get fighting for your meal plan or your parking or any of that kind of stuff, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I think you guys are just being a little over dramatic. I get the fee thing, but at the end of the day too, like, what are you going to get back? $100?
Yeah. And also, exactly. So first of all, there's a good chance that the money you're fighting for is basically going to cover the cost of the lawyer you're paying to fight for it. If you're going for a reasonable, like, hey, I want the last, 20% of this semester's just tuition back. Also, the reason I brought up your insider kind of perspective, Amanda, of how professors are now looking down on this kid for suing the school, I want everybody out there who is thinking of demanding a refund to really think about how this is going to impact the rest of your college career at whatever institution you are suing. Because if it gets out that you are a person who is suing the school for not getting what you wanted, is that coming right off of the career services
you
thing,
also have to think
is that
about this.
really going to look good when you're asking your professors for recommendation letters?
Yeah, in the case of like
Probably not.
also if you're like a junior or someone and you have time, like all these people are going to see that you did this. And also at the same time, if a lot of people chip into it and the program starts losing money, that's going to
Then
be
you're
on
gonna just
that's gonna be
screw
on
with your
because
program.
think about how many people are in a given program at MSU. MSU is a huge school. Like I went to my old college. It was really tiny, and there wasn't as many people there, and so there would be less money to support that program. So think about it in that sense that you're ruining somebody's experience.
And you're possibly ruining your own experience.
And you're also potentially like having teachers maybe not get rehired next year. I know that sounds like it might be a stretch, but it's not. Teachers are gonna lose their jobs this year or get furloughed or whatever. And
we haven't been hearing about that on the news a lot because school is still going on.
Yeah.
These stories, I can almost guarantee you, if I am wrong, feel free to angry tweet me. I can almost guarantee you, come summer, come the end of this semester, these stories are going to start popping up, and we're going to be the first ones reporting them, where we're going to see loads of teachers in waves, in droves, in whatever word you want to use, get laid off.
It's not going to help if schools are facing lawsuits, because if they need to like, I don't know. It drives me nuts. I've been talking to my mom about it too. And she was telling me about the fact that she works in a high school, and she said she's already pretty worried because she thinks other students are going to try to start suing them because it's a very more rich town. And it's very interesting to me if that would happen, because it's just not fair. You guys, it's a global pandemic.
And I think people are forgetting, like, look, we get it. You are frustrated. I'm going to tell you right now, we are all frustrated. I woke up this morning not wanting to do the show because I was so frustrated at how hard this has been. But you know what? Here I am.
Day 50 something right now.
Day 50 something. I turned in my paper that I thought I was going to bomb, and I got like an 88 on it. So, I didn't want to do the show, and I showed up here. This is frustrating for everybody, but you need to power through it. You cannot use the school as an excuse, and you cannot say, oh, I didn't get the classes I wanted. It's a breach of contract. No, it's not. Look at what a breach of contract is, first of all, because most contracts literally have a clause that says like a pandemic, an act of God, whatever, it's not considered a breach of contract, something that's out of someone's control, basically.
Not even talking about like this, but even talking about in general, like I think everybody needs to chill out about all this. I understand it's stressful, and I understand you want to go back to normal, but we all want to go back to like some kind of normal.
This is not just
be working
affecting
this summer.
you.
I want to be working. I want to be doing all the activities. I was supposed to shoot a feature film this summer. That's getting pushed off now. I'm supposed to do a show. I don't know if that's gonna happen. And like I'm supposed to be doing so much stuff, and it's just like it's really frustrating because that's the way I'm creative and how I'm staying okay, but obviously it's stressful. I get it. But I was driving around yesterday and people are just not listening. I passed a beach and the beach was completely filled. And I was like, and nobody was social distancing, and things like that. Wait.
Yeah.
I'm very confused because Annabella just said something in our little chat, and that's actually, I don't know if that's my aunt. Unless it's somebody else with the same name. That's my aunt.
Your aunt says, don't forget that some teachers also have young children they are helping with remote learning at home. Being a teacher in this environment is extremely difficult. You are not entitled to a tuition refund.
Exactly.
That would be funny if just
it's as simple as that. And you know what? Amanda agreed with me, and I'll say it again. If you really, really want to fight it, any university administrators out there, if you want to say, oh, this is my advice. I don't know how administration works, but this is what I would do. I would say, fine, if you really, really want to refund that badly, here's the last 10% of your tuition back. By the way, all your classes are now withdrawn. Sorry, you do not deserve the education the university is struggling to give you right now if you're going to complain about it. You do not deserve it. Plain and simple. Okay? If
I
you
think
want to
people
be
are
an
just-
adult in
people
an
are
adult world, I got news for you. Life doesn't go the way you always want it to.
People are just very entitled right now and think they deserve everything. And it's just like, you know what? I think this is not saying everybody's doing this. I think it's really nice that sometimes people are actually taking advantage of this time and like actually helping each other. And I think that's what it needs to be all about instead of just being about this stupid, like, I need to get what I want out of this situation. It's all about me. It's not all about you. Guess what? Because it's about everybody else that's also suffering. There's people that are dying, and all you're worried about is that you're not getting $100 back. Like, I think
Exactly.
and I think you need to figure out where your priorities are.
Exactly. And this is called a segue. Speaking of priorities, Amanda, do you know where this man's priorities were when he snuck into Disney? Because I don't. I needed a way to find out of the topic. There it is. Anyways.
I would love to be quarantined in Disney World, to be completely honest.
I wrote to begin this story. Just I like giving the listeners some meta knowledge. So we have a little script to help us flow with the stories. So I wrote, this whack dude was doing sketchy things at Disney to help Amanda introduce the story.
As you all know too, as you know, you're
Huge
more
Disney
person.
fan
I'm a
over
huge
here.
Disney fan.
Yeah.
I like everything about the theme parks and everything. It's my daily. I watch it all day. So basically, for people that don't know, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Florida deputies arrested a man who has been living out in quarantine on a shuttered Disney World island, telling authorities it felt like a, quote, tropical paradise, end quote. Orange County Sheriff's deputies found Richard McGuire on Disney's Discovery Island on Thursday. He said he has been there since Monday or Tuesday and had planned to camp there for a week, according to an arrest report. The 42-year-old said he didn't hear numerous deputies searching the private island for him on foot, by boat and by air, because he was asleep in a building. He told the deputies he didn't know it was a restricted area, despite there being numerous no trespassing signs.
Come on, dude. You're playing the dumb card after breaking into private property?
I was just gonna say, this is private property. Disney is private. And
I should have let in, speaking of dumb people. But, like, come on. There's some dumb people out there, but you cannot play the oh, I didn't know card.
It's funny because a lot of people have been talking about, because like there's a lot of updates from the channels I listen to about like when Disney's going to reopen and stuff, because this has been a long time that Disney's already closed. They never closed for anything, and now they've been closed for like 2 months, and they're going to be closed for a longer time too. And they're talking about like when they're going to reopen, do that kind of stuff, and they were saying like, oh, well, they have the right to open whenever they want because it's private property. I mean, going off the state, they have to still do, but they have, like, if they want to wait another 4 months, they can. And they could do whatever measures they want to at the park, just like they have any measures to kick you out if you're on private property.
I know.
And they can do whatever they want to you because you are on private property. Just getting, and but mind you, like, I don't know the exact layout of Disney for like space for space or whatever, I guess, like, because it's huge. If anybody doesn't know, it's like there's like 30 or 40 resorts, hotels, and then there's parks, and then there's all this other stuff. And so, yeah, so the fact that like Discovery Island is not the first thing that you could get into there. It's like back. And it's
like this man, he was not. You can't play the dumb card saying, "Oh, I thought I'd camp out at the edge." No, this was a journey. This was a trek, even.
Also, just because like the parks are closed doesn't mean anybody's still there. Security is still there manning the parks.
So he was probably, he had to have been sneaking, like, oh, security, I just never saw anybody. Like, all right.
And you didn't see the million no trespassing signs?
You didn't see the million no trespassing signs, everything locked and closed, and you're going to camp out there for a week? This required planning.
What's funny?
You had to plan this. This wasn't even a, like, oh, it was a dumb Florida man drunk mistake. No, this required planning.
What's funny is I
packed a bag for this.
I love Disney content of all sources. Like I watch vlogs, I listen to podcasts, I do these things, and I recently found one that I got really into, and it was about this whole channel about how this guy breaks into Disney on a regular basis. And it's not the same guy, but it's this different guy, and he records breaking into rides. Like the best video is he broke into Expedition Everest and like started walking the tracks, and people were like, "You're kind of stupid because you don't realize that people test that ride in the middle of the night and stuff." It's like people just don't think, and then they record it and put it on YouTube, where everybody could see it. Like,
Yeah. It's like, hey, Disney, you know that law I just broke? Check it out. I
Check
put
it
it
out,
on
I
my
trespassed.
YouTube channel.
and the funniest
Be
thing
sure
too-
to like and subscribe as I get arrested.
the funniest thing is this guy literally sometimes he'll be running from the cops and you'll see him like running, and then the thing gets on YouTube.
It's like a scene out of Cloverfield. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my god, I love it. And so like this just made my week because like the fact that people are also still like using this time to sue Disney for things, mind you. Going back to our suing story, like so, talk about a company that faces like a lawsuit every day. That's
Oh yeah.
but
Exactly.
like I don't know. That's quarantine, baby.
Yeah, there you go. That's quarantine, baby. Hopefully more entertaining stories like that will come out.
We gotta have a little
one-
entertainment during this time. I mean, like as
Yeah.
much as I want to rant about the lawsuits, it just gives me like a chance to show some passion into something and be like, all right, time to
Exactly.
on the stupid people.
Exactly. All right. Well, before we wrap the show, we are going to wrap the show a little early because Annabella is going to share a wonderful song with us. But before we wrap the show early, I do have some good news for those of you out there looking for a cure. No, not to the coronavirus. However, to something that affects humanity just as much. I'm kidding. It's the hangover. So a drink apparently made from plant extracts and fruit extracts may be the scientifically backed cure to having a hangover. The plant extracts
So for all those nights when you've been drinking a lot during the quarantine,
during quarantine. Please don't do that. Please do that if you do of age and responsibly and all the other disclaimers I can get
And
put
you
in
have
there
to
so that
watch
I don't
after,
get in trouble.
please. You got your after.
Yeah, please, and also, and eat food before, after, everything, the whole 9 yards. Just if you're somewhat intelligent, please use all of your brain cells to not be dumb when you drink.
Don't be dumb.
Yeah, don't be dumb. That's the best advice. I want to put that on a T-shirt. Don't be dumb.
We should make shirts and
At
we'll wear it on the
WMSC.
buns. We'll be like, don't be dumb.
Exactly. But now apparently the plant extracts include a Barbados cherry, prickly pear, ginkgo biloba, willow, and ginger root. Which is like a bunch of
So what I'm hearing
magnesium,
is
like
everybody-
vitamins and stuff I can't pronounce.
what I'm hearing is you just need to be taking your fruits and vegetables in, as what
Apparently,
this article is saying. So be healthy, eat fruits and vegetables.
I guess, yeah. It's really interesting. The article is brought to you by the Good News Network if you are interested in reading more about the sciencey stuff about it. But
Or good news.
yeah, or some more good news. In a time of stress and dumb people suing places that we won't talk about anymore because it's the end of the show for dumb reasons, it's a good place to go. That's where I get pretty much all my good news. But yeah, so there may be a cure to the hangover
There
coming
you go.
soon. But
Maybe not COVID, but the hangover.
yes, but that is the
The
show
show.
for the day. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Morning Buzz. In case you just tuned in, I'm sorry. We're going off air. My name has, in fact, been Ryan Trick.
And I've been Amanda Marino. Enjoy the day. That's May the 4th. Watch a Star Wars movie or something.
May the 4th be with you.
And I'm your oppa.